What is up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 4 of our UCLA Dynasty, where we'll be finishing up year 1, hopefully playing in a bowl game, and heading into our first ever offseason. Last episode was definitely our craziest and most jam-packed episode to date, highlighted by our insane double overtime win over our hated rivals, USC. While we may have won the battle, USC so far has definitely won the war after signing 3 of our top recruits this season. Still, if we can beat Fresno State to end the year and win a bowl game, we'd finish the year 7-6, which hopefully will help us sign a few more recruits and several transfers entering the portal. With that being said, guys, I can't wait to finish up this season, so let's get into this Fresno State game and let's try to finish the year 6-6. So they are coming out with a 2 tight end set, which is interesting. I'm thinking they're probably going to be running it. And they do. And we stuff it for a 2-yard loss. 3rd and 10 here, Fresno State's first drive. 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Be a big stop here so we can avoid a touchdown. Oh, and we intercept it. I believe that's his first interception of the season. Jalen Davies, our only cornerback who plays significant time, who will be back next season. So we are going to go play action here. If we get enough time, we'll try to hit Sturdivant going across the middle. Oh, he is open. We just don't have enough time. Oh, man. What a mess. We fumble the ball, Fresno State scoops it up, and they fall right into the end zone. That's very unfortunate to give up that defensive touchdown for Fresno. The defense on our side finally made a good stop and got an interception. 3rd and inches, going to give the ball to TJ here. 3rd and 9, the drive's kind of stalled out a bit. We are going to try to hit either Sturdivant or Logan Loya on the outsides here. I'm going to hit Logan. Oh. In his hands, but he drops it. So it's going to be a 1st and 10. Oh my goodness. He goes back 8 yards and then somehow picks up 8 yards. We bring up 2nd and 2 here. They do play action. They go right down the middle of the tight end. Somehow the tight end comes down with it. It's going to be a 1st and goal on the 1-yard line. I'd love to see our players make a play half like that. And they're going to be in for the 14-0 lead. So just like that, 5.5 minutes to go in the second quarter, we are already down by 14 points. We've been here so many times before. I have to start slinging the ball once again. Bring up 3rd and 4 here. Maliki might be open deep with the safety. And he comes down with it. A good way to kind of read a mismatch there with a guy who is way smaller than him on him. Great way to come down with it. Bring up 2nd and 10 here. Maybe look at Sturdivant. We're going to go Titus on the outside. Oh, but there's going to be a flag. Roughing the passer. Wow, something goes our way. Tack on additional yardage there. It's going to bring up a 1st and goal on the 4-yard line. Up 2nd and 2 here. If we can't get in with TJ, I think we're going to bring in Davis at quarterback for 3rd down, but let's try to get it here. And we do. That's Fresno's lead to just 7. Fresno State's just slinging it on us right now. So it's going to be 3rd and 4 here as we come back from the 2-minute warning. Getting a stop here is crucial. And we do get this. We do get the stop, so we are going to force a field goal. It'll be 17-7. Bringing up a 2nd and 10 here. Points are crucial. Titus is open down the middle. Nice juke move. He's going to get down to midfield. I think we're going to hurry the boys up a little bit. Get them on their heels. Hit Sturdivant on the outside. Could be a nice 8-yard gain. Starting to cook here a little bit. We're going to hit Keegan Jones, hopefully in the middle. He is going to be open. He might be able to take this to the house. At the very least, to the red zone. And just like that, we're down to the 5-yard line. It is DeMarcus Davis time. We're going to do our little wildcat play like we like to do here. Ooh, and that's a nasty juke move. That is a nasty juke move. This guy is ready to be our starter next season. I like this flanker dig route play. Give us a couple good options here. Our first read's probably going to be Titus here on the drag route. But Logan Loya is coming over the middle. We do fit that in there barely. It's a great catch from Logan. After that big explosion game against Rutgers several weeks ago, he hasn't really done a whole lot, but that was a great catch. We're going to give the ball to Keegan here. It's going to be a big hole. That's a great rip. He just ripped off 20 yards right there. It's really a nice run and great blocking from the O-line. All right, so this is going to set up a 3rd and 7 here. Obviously, we can't turn the ball over with us being in field goal range. Our first read probably going to be Keegan. And go over to Titus. He doesn't come down with it, so it is going to be 4th and 7 to set this field goal. Maheen is going to get us on the board here and tie us up. Just like that, at 3rd and 17. Our defense has done really well with that field goal. See if we can get one more stop here. They're going to go a short little screen pass. Our defense is going to eat it up. It's going to be 4th and 11. We're going to get the ball back. So I think we are going to go play action here. We're running the ball pretty well that last drive. Maliki should be open here. It's a great ball. Be a nice 15-yard gain and put us down in the 42. We do this inside zone play. We're going to be looking at Keegan Jones here, a running back. O-line does a great job blocking, and Keegan's just ripping off big run after big run. So we're going to be at a 3rd and 10 here. Liking either Sturdivant or Loya. Sturdivant's on one-on-one coverage. We do fit it right in there. And he's going to get brought down at the 3-yard line. He's going to step out of bounds at the 3. Great pass from Ethan Garbers. Going to set us up for what should be a touchdown here. About to finish off the last quarter of the regular season here. Hopefully we can end on a high note and head into bowl season on a 3-game winning streak. So it's DeMarcus Davis time right now to kick off this 4th quarter. We're at 2nd and goal here. We're going to get the ball. We're going to run straight up the middle. Get Davis another touchdown here. And it's going to be wide open. And he stays on his feet, too, to boot. This dude is such a beast. So Fresno State's rolling now. They've responded well after we scored that touchdown. It'll be 1st and 10 here, 4 minutes to go. They're going to run the ball. We can't bring out down the running back, and they're going to be down in 1st and goal on the 6-yard line. So it's now up to our defense once again to give us a stop here. It's going to be 1st and goal from our 6. 4.5 minutes to go. They hand it off to the running back. He's going to bully his way in. We cannot bring him down, and they're going to tie it up with only 4 minutes to go. So we are at 1st and 10 here. About 4 minutes and 23 seconds to go. We do a little touch pass here to Titus, give us some space, hopefully. He's going to get us a 1st down there. That's big. 2nd and 11 here. We do a short pass, a little dump off, ideally to Keegan Jones here out of the backfield. I think he is going to be open. He is open. He's having such a good game. One of his last games as a Bruin before he graduates. Keegan Jones is going off for us today. So we're right at midfield, 1st and 10. As long as we don't make any stupid mistakes, we should be getting into field goal range hopefully pretty soon here. If not a touchdown, ideally a touchdown. That's a great run from TJ. We're just running it all down their throats right now. Should be some space. He's going to get the 1st down. He's going to stay on his feet. And he's going to stay on his feet even more, and he's going to get us down to the 31-yard line with only 2.5 minutes to go. Things are looking pretty good at this point. We are once again putting the ball in Davis's hands like we've been doing almost every game in big situations here. I'm going to try to hit Sturdivant on the drag route, but if not, I'm definitely going to run the ball. Sturdivant should be open. Oh, but he drops it. I probably should have just ran it there. That's going to make it a 41-yard field goal. I don't like that, really. We're going to keep the ball in Davis's hands once again. Our priority at this point is probably going to be to run it if we can. If not, we'll just check it down on a quick play to Logan Loya on the drag. Looks like this right side's going to be open. It is. We're going to just try to stay in bounds here. He gets pushed out, but it's okay. We're going to get a huge 1st down. Minute 21 to go. Fresno State has just one timeout. We're tied up here on 2nd and 4. Just got to hold on to the ball here. They almost want us to score, but we're not going to let them. We're not going to fall for their trap. The 1-yard line, we're going to give the ball to TJ in the split T formation. Hopefully he can pound it in here. He does. It's going to give us a 6-point lead with just a few seconds remaining. That was a great response from the offense. Very well composed, playing to the home crowd, and we're going to take a 6-point lead with just 23 seconds left. 1st and 10 on the 37. Going 4 verts here. Can we get a sack? They're going to throw it away. 4th and 10. One more stop here, and we do it, and we win. They're going to chuck it deep here. And we're going to win the ball game. We're going to end the year on a 3-game winning streak. We're going to be 6-6, and we are going to be in some bowl game. It's not going to be a high-profile bowl game at all, but we started the year 1-4. We battled back. We didn't give up hope. We had a huge win against USC last game out. Finish it off with a big win against Fresno State, who are by no means a superpower, but again, 3-game winning streak. We ended the year 5-2 after our 1-4 start. I have to say this was a pretty successful year one, and then let's hope we can finish it off here with a big bowl victory against whoever we end up playing against. It is up, guys. So we advanced a couple weeks. We did find out we are going to be at the LA Bowl, so we're going to be right in our backyard, real close to home, and we will be playing New Mexico. So if you guys are like me and like to look at stats and standings and see how the league kind of plays out from year to year, we'll kind of just go over some of the stats now that we're at the end of the year. So Jalen Milroe from Alabama did win the Heisman. I know Jackson Arnold had a phenomenal year, even though it doesn't show. I think he had like 38 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Kyron Jones on VTech has been on the list for a while too, but Jalen Milroe ended up winning this award for this year. And as far as how the Big Ten standings kind of shaped up, overall, I think for us, I'm pretty happy. We're going to finish in 7th place. At the beginning of the year when we were 1-4 and just getting smoked by Oregon and Penn State, I was not expecting a top half finish. So the fact that we were able to have a winning record in the Big Ten, despite giving up an insane 444 points this year, overall, I would say I'm pretty happy with that. And then hopefully we can build on that and start competing with the big guns, in the next couple of years here. And now we're to one of my favorite parts of every sports game, and that's the stats. So we only have the bowl game left to play, so these are more or less kind of official. But as far as quarterback, Ethan Garbers turned it around for sure with us. He cut down his interceptions. I think he's still one of the highest in the nation, but he did have 24 touchdowns. And then next year's presumed starter, Demarcus Davis, had 2 touchdown passes as well. As far as running backs, I wish our running game could have been a little bit more established because we were trailing in so many games. We didn't run it as much as I would have liked. But TJ Harden still had 8 touchdowns. Demarcus Davis had 5 as well. Then Keegan Jones, who was more known for his pass catching, did have 3 touchdowns as well for 369 yards. As far as receiving, I'm very happy, honestly, that we got someone to go over 1,000 yards, J. Michael Sturdivant, and he's going to be coming back hopefully next year if he doesn't transfer or try to enter the draft. But J. Michael Sturdivant definitely led us by far in receiving yards. On only 40 catches, he had over 1,100 yards and 9 touchdowns. And then right below him is our reliable slot, Titus Mokayo Adamalala. I've just been calling him Titus all year for obvious reasons, but he was really solid. He gave us a lot of big plays as well. Had 5 touchdowns and 779 yards. And then Logan Loya, he had that blow-up game against Rutgers, was a little quiet after that. Still, he had some pretty reliable catches for us. Finished with 5 touchdowns and then 31 catches as well. Keegan Jones, who I mentioned earlier, led our team, actually is tied with Titus with 56 catches, which is huge for a backup running back. He had a phenomenal season for us, and I wish he was coming back for us. And then Maliki Mataveo, really reliable. I thought he had a great season, 410 yards. And then Kyler Gilmore, 16 catches, 5 touchdowns. I think the most productive receiver we had in terms of catches to touchdowns. And I'm glad he should hopefully be coming back as well. As far as on defense, I was actually really surprised to see that Jalen Davies was our leading tackler. He was our 3rd cornerback, so he came in for a lot of nickel and dime look. He ended up finishing with 100 tackles and 1 interception. John Vaughn's the middle linebacker, who will be leaving after the season, had 94. Ramon Henderson, another reliable senior, had 93. Olu Oludejo, another linebacker of ours, had 92 tackles. And then it kind of just keeps going down and down. I was really happy, obviously, with Devin Kirkwood. He had 4 interceptions, 2 of those being pick sixes. Elsewhere, one of the guys I really liked, who I didn't talk about that much, was Collins Achimpong, who had 4 sacks as a freshman for us. So I think his future is really bright. He's going to get even more playing time for us next season, and I'm really excited what we'll see from him. I think another guy who I'm excited about for next season as well is freshman Donovan Pellet. He played a decent role as a backup safety. I expect him to be starting, and him and Achimpong to be 2 of the younger leaders on our defense next season. And then finally, you got to talk about our kicker, Mateen Bagani. We've talked about him quite a bit throughout the season. He ultimately finished with 4 field goals made versus 8 attempts total. We are bringing in some competition next season, so we'll see if he'll end up beating out the freshman who's going to be coming in next year. And then as far as giving a rundown on New Mexico before we hop into this final game, they have had a really impressive 9-4 record despite being just a 1-star team. They lost to Arizona, by 21 points, but then they came back and beat Auburn. They lost by 8 to a pretty tough Fresno State team like we just saw. After that, they just went on a tear. They beat New Mexico State, their rivals, Air Force, Utah State, Colorado State, Wyoming, San Diego State. Just barely lost to Washington State, and then they beat Hawaii, who obviously is a team that we lost to. And they lost to a ranked UNLV game just prior, which was actually their conference championship game. So they were a solid team. They're not going to be a pushover, and we have to definitely take them seriously. It's going to set up a big 3rd and 3 yet again. We up to our offense. Maliki's open in the middle of the field. He's going to pick us up the big first down when we really needed it. So that is going to bring up a 2nd and 9 here. We like Keegan Jones out of the backfield. We also like Titus on the left side. Titus might be open here. The good ball from Ethan Garbers to set up a first down on the 16. Set up a 2nd and 7. Greg Michael Sturdivant's open in the middle of the field. He's going to tackle the 2-yard line. So most likely next year's starting quarterback, DeMarcus Davis, is going to take the field here on 1st and goal, hoping it's our first touchdown. Ooh, but he is going to get stuffed. It hasn't really happened at all this season. I think we'll keep him in the game on the 2nd and goal, see if he can get us in the end zone. Should be open. Get to the pylon, and he does get it. That outside run is going to get us some points here when we really have needed it. Once again, the defense has forced a 3rd down situation. Can they get New Mexico off the field is the question now. They're going to go short, and KJ Wallace is going to come up with a big deflection to force 4th down. We're in a very difficult 3rd and 10 here. Oh, that was a good ball. That's a shame. And dang it, we had a chance to really take control there. We're going to have to punt the ball right back to him. That's a big play from Devin Kirkwood. He looked like he was beat, but he makes a big-time athletic play and forces the incomplete pass. The receiver does come down with it on 2nd and 10. Stops. It is going to be 3rd and 10 here for New Mexico. We can maintain the lead if we can get a stop here. Whoa, not only do we get a stop, we get an interception, and Devin Kirkwood's looking for his 3rd pick 6 of the season. He's going to do it in his final game. What a career he's had, and what a season Devin Kirkwood's had. 3 pick 6s this season. That is quite unique, and I have to say that is very cool. Devin Kirkwood's 5th interception of the season, his 3rd pick 6. And I think he's done something that I haven't seen in many, many seasons of past college football games. And we are going to go up 14-3 into halftime. The first time all year, definitely, that we've only given up 3 points. It is against New Mexico. Not to take anything away from them. They've had a good season this year so far. And there's a lot of ball left, but so far so good from this defense. The offense is starting to kind of put things together too. So we're going to come out empty. My first read is probably going to be Maliki on the drag route. No one's really open. We're going to have to get it away. Oh, but we don't have time to. And unfortunately, we're going to take a big 13-yard sack. It's going to set up a 2nd and 23. That was not a good decision on my end. All right, Logan Lloyd in the middle of the field, though. He is going to make most of that up. It's going to be 3rd and 2. After a great pass. We're going to run it once again. I think the outside is going to be open for TJ Harden. We can do our jobs and block well. I don't take a great angle. It's going to be 4th and 3. Normally I would go for it, but with a 2-score lead, unfortunately I think I am going to punt it. I dump it off short. John Vaughn's going to make a nice tackle. It's going to be 3rd and 1. We are bringing a lot of pressure. They do pass it. Luckily, we don't get punished too bad, but they are going to pick up a 1st down. And another interception. This time, KJ Wallace. And this defense is really stepping up. I think it's the first time all season maybe we've had 2 interceptions in a game. It hasn't happened, I don't think, at all. But this defense is making huge plays, finally. The offense just has to kind of get things going here. If we don't get a touchdown on this drive, I might be going to Davis in the next drive. Keegan Jones is going to burst through the middle for a huge gain, 22-yard gain. We're just doing so good around the ball. Probably the best we've done all season. Set up a 3rd and 2. Harden's going to truck multiple defenders and get a huge first down for us to the 11-yard line. Him and Jones, the last time they'll be taking the backfield together. Hopefully we will have Harden next season, but these two have been doing a phenomenal job all game. Once again, we're under center. TJ Harden's getting the ball. He's not even going to be touched, and he's going to go into the end zone for a 21-3 lead. Ooh, KJ Walls, if he just turned his head, that would have been an easy interception once again. Fortunately, he was late on that, and they are going to be down on the 1-yard line. So New Mexico is going to get us there on the read option. We definitely have some life now, down by 11 points. Once again, we're going to run this inside zone here to Harden, who's been tearing up New Mexico so far. Another huge hole. This O-line is having just a monster game. As a former O-lineman, I definitely have to give these guys some credit. They've been playing really well. Set up a 3rd and inches. TJ Harden again is going to rip off a big run. Cisco's really going to have less than a minute to score twice. I wouldn't put it past our defense, but they have been playing really well. Maheen might nail this 47-yarder. I think he will. His best field goal of the season, he saves till the very end. That's a huge field goal. We're not even halfway to replacing our full list of seniors, so we do have a long way to go before we kick off for our next game in year 2. But I think so far we can just be happy with how things panned out. And Devin Kirkwood's going to get one more interception to end his very, very impressive senior year. No pick six, but a great interception nonetheless. And this game is over, guys. Long way to go until we're competing with Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, etc., Michigan in the very tough Big Ten. But a winning record in both conference play and overall is definitely a win in my book. Ethan Garbers wraps up an impressive season. Devin Kirkwood as well with a huge pick six that really turned the game around completely for us. He goes out a winner, as does all the seniors on this team. And DeMarcus Davis, number 9 there, is going to be the future of this program, more than likely next year. I am very excited to see how he performs. He looked great this season in limited action, and I think he's ready to take this team to new heights. And as we finally wrap up this season, we do have a few more recruits we are trying to get before the season's over. Maurice Egan, a linebacker who did grade out as a gem, which is nice, has us 3rd on his list. I don't think we're going to get him. We did kind of add him late in the process. It would be nice, though. Our O-line's definitely going to be taking a lot of losses. We're losing 3 starters after the season, so I'm trying to get in as many as we can. Zach Dalton does have us number 1 on his list, so it'll be nice to get him. And then we do have a 4-star O-lineman in Quentin Cush as well that we're looking at. He has us 1st on his list, too. And my favorite guy who I'm really hoping we can get before the season's over is Cameron Hicks. He's an athlete as well, but I think he can either fill in that Keegan Jones role as a receiving back, or he can just be a slot receiver. We are absolutely getting decimated by the transfer portal. We lose our leading tackler, Jalen Davies, Maliki Mataveo, who had a really good season for us at tight end. Justin Martin, one of our quarterbacks. I'm fine with him leaving, to be honest with you. He wasn't really in my future plans. But Colin Acheampong, who I was so high on, I've been talking about him a lot as a freshman. Jaden Marshall, another cornerback who wants to leave. Xavier Staples, a wide receiver who I figured would get a lot of playing time for us next season. Young safety, Clint Stevens. Another backup running back, Isaiah Carlson, who probably would have played more this year. A linebacker, a low lineman, another cornerback, and then a 62 overall wide receiver in Carter Shaw, but I was not expecting this many transfers. These guys were huge parts of my plans for next season. Colin Acheampong at least has a medium chance to stay, so I will start with him and try to persuade him, and it has failed. So that is a huge loss. I don't know what we're going to be doing at tight end. We might not even really run tight end sets at this point. I have no idea. We have one 3-star, I think, that signed. I doubt he's going to want to stay. This is... Oh, yay. Okay, well, that's a win at least. He had a low chance of staying. That does help. That does kind of soften a little bit of the blow of Colin Acheampong, but replacing a freshman who was going to probably be an 80 overall next year is going to be really, really difficult now at this point. I don't think we really have brought in any defensive linemen either. Let's see if we can get Jalen Davies. He was going to be our number 1 cornerback next season. And he does stay. That is a relief, honestly. I think we have a couple more opportunities to try to convince people. I think I will have to try and go with Jaden Marshall, keep another cornerback on this team. And it's failed. So we will be losing Jaden Marshall, the sophomore out of Stockton, California. That's a disappointment for sure. I think I am going to try and get Staples, though, because we don't have a lot of... We're losing Logan Loya and Titus, our slot. We've only been able to really get in one receiver this year in recruiting. It's been not very good. So I think I'm going to try and convince Staples. And that's succeeded, luckily. So going through the transfer portal here, I think it's pretty obvious looking at our depth chart and seeing that the fact that we have 30 seniors, we definitely need to upgrade pretty much every position. So with that being said, we're going to just add guys left and right, kind of come back to things in a minute here. So we did just have our first transfer portal signing, luckily. Ryan Otten, he was a tight end with the Washington Huskies last season, our division rivals. So that is a nice addition to the team. And this one I'm the most excited about really is Tiger Bachmeyer. He was really the only wide receiver out of the transfer portal who was interested in us. And I think he looks really good. I think he's going to immediately see a lot of playing time. He was with the Stanford Cardinal last season, and I think he's going to be a really good addition to this team. All right, guys, so I finally have some good news. We plugged away at the recruiting, we plugged away at the transfer portal, and we actually went on to finish with the 39th ranked recruiting class. We were in the 90s, 100s, 80s all season. Somehow we pulled it all together at the very end. We were just putting guys on a recruiting board, left, right, and center. Anybody who could basically spell UCLA, we were putting them on our list. And we actually finished with a really pretty solid recruiting class, all things considered. So one of the guys I'm the most excited and surprised we actually ended up signing was Cameron Hicks. He's a 4-star running back, number 8 in the country, shockingly, from Colorado. And he actually had a deal breaker with us because of our coach prestige being so low. And he actually blocked us off at the very end. So I was figuring we weren't going to get him or Eric Armour, a free safety, who unfortunately is a bust, but I'm hoping he'll at least be like a 3-star in talent. But they both blocked us off because of our coach prestige, and I guess because no one else had pushed hard enough to get him, they both signed with us, and that was a huge surprise, and I'm super happy with that. And at safety, since we're losing both of our starting receivers, I was really happy to get 3-star safeties to join the team. Bryce Peters, Brendan Brown, Jerry Lester. I'm hoping at least one of these 3 pans out, if not maybe 2. So that's huge. And then left end, I know the shocking departure of Colin Jachimpong, who's only a freshman, really hurt us, but we did sign a 3-star left end in Trent York, so I don't know if he'll be able to start right away or even really play much, but the fact that we were able to at least help the position a bit by getting him and Terrell Jarwin, who hopefully one of the 2 can pan out and maybe play some significant time, I thought that was a really crucial signing for us. So I said in our first video that we weren't going to do any coaching upgrades, quickly realizing that this is going to be a much harder challenge than I thought, and I think if I'm not going to do any of these, this series is going to be over pretty quickly here. So I think I am going to make some upgrades. I'm not going to overdo it and make it unrealistic, but I am just going to do it just to kind of keep us competitive. All right, guys, so we are back after the training results, and things do look a little bit better than what they seemed initially. We have quite a few guys who are above an 80 overall now. Our overall offensive and defensive ratings are now at 82, luckily. Luke Duncan saw a big increase at quarterback to a 79 overall, but we still are going to go with DeMarcus Davis. TJ Harden has improved to an 88 overall, so that's really good. And then over at receiver, J. Michael Sturdivant's our only 90-plus overall player at a 91 overall. Xavier Staples had a nice bump to an 81, as did Gilmore, who's probably going to be our slot receiver, like I mentioned. Maliki Mataveo is now 85 overall. Jack Peterson bumped up to an 81. He's probably going to be our 3rd-string tight end, which is crazy as an 81 overall, but it's nice to have depth at least one position. Offensive line, still not great. Knighton bumped up 1 to a 78 overall. Left guard, Noah Pueli is now at 80 overall, so that's nice. Dre Mullings is a 70 overall, so at least he's not in the 60s. I would have wanted a little bit better increase than that. But over at right guard, Caleb Walker's a 77 overall. And then Garrett DeGiorgio bumped up to an 80 overall as well. Our defensive ends had a significant jump, which is very, very relieving. Bucky was our number 1 guy heading into training, and he went from a 71 to a 77. Ezekiel Thornhill, I don't even know what he was at, but he is now at 77 overall as well. So now we have 2 decent left ends at least. Over at right end, Jake Busick went to an 83 overall, which is great. Redshirt freshman Isaiah Patterson's now at a 78 as well. So now we do have some depth at the position, luckily. Over at middle linebacker, Solomon Malufu almost got to an 80 overall. He's going to be a 79 overall, slightly better than Jalen Woods. And then Todd Stanley Ellis jumped up to a 77. Cornerback, we only had 2 guys who could actually improve in the training. Jalen Davies, 85 overall now, and then Kanye Clark's going to be a 78, so that's pretty good. Clint Stevens also had a big bump at free safety. He jumped up from a 74 to a 78. And then Donovan Pellet jumped up slightly from a 74 to a 75. All right, guys, so I think I'm going to end this episode by showing our schedule heading into year 2. And then next week, we'll jump into the season and start kicking off our second season. So with that being said, we are going to face San Jose State opening game. I like to kind of have a little bit easier team or a more manageable team. I say that, and, we lost to Hawaii last season on the opener. San Jose State's around that same level. So they did finish 3-9 last season, but their overall isn't much worse than ours. I think they're a 79 overall, so we're actually fairly even with them, which is kind of disappointing, honestly. Right after that, we're all going to face Ohio State at Ohio State. That's going to be extremely difficult, probably our toughest game of the year. Then we have Washington, Boise State in our non-conference. I wanted to schedule somebody a little bit better in non-conference after scheduling San Jose State. So we are going to play Boise State at home. Then we're going to have 2 road games, actually 3 road games in a row, Northwestern, Michigan State, and an Indiana squad as well, who was pretty tough last season. Then we're going to have Nebraska. And then I schedule San Jose State, another local team to face near the end of the year, and then we're going to have a really brutal end. We're going to have Penn State, which is ranked number 9, Maryland, who is surprisingly 17th heading into next season, despite only having one better win than we did and the same conference record. They're going to come into the year 17th, and then we're going to face our rivals USC, who we had a wild game against last year. So I think that's going to do it, guys. I'm going to set up the recruiting board and show it off next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for following us in year 1, and we can't wait to start year 2.